You ever have that feeling like you're just about to burst? Well, today we're going to dive into the hidden dangers of bottling all that up, and we'll uncover a simple but really powerful way to let your feelings out safely. Think of this as your body's SOS.
Okay, so let's start with a situation I'm pretty sure we've all been in, right? It's that moment where some tiny, totally insignificant thing happens and you just snap. You overreact, and maybe a second later, you're not even sure why. So, where does that sudden burst of anger or frustration actually come from?
Well, the legendary therapist Virginia Satir had this really profound idea about it. She believed that when we try to push down those uncomfortable emotions, annoyance, sadness, anger, that energy, it doesn't just vanish into thin air. Nope. It sticks around, it lingers, and it turns into what she called a slow-acting poison, quietly doing damage over time.
And look, this isn't just some abstract psychological idea. It has very real, very physical consequences, and it's something that even the biggest stars on the planet can't escape. For a lot of people, it starts with actual physical pain.
I mean, take the incredible story of Lady Gaga. For years, she was really open about her long and difficult battle with fibromyalgia. And that's a condition that causes this chronic, widespread, and often totally unexplained physical pain. And in her documentary, she revealed this unbelievably powerful connection. Her physical agony, it wasn't just random. It was a direct physical result of years of emotional stress, of trauma, of anxiety that she just hadn't fully dealt with. Her body was literally screaming the pain that her mind was trying to keep locked away. This is such a perfect example of what experts call the body keeps the score. Think about it. When your brain's danger alarm is constantly going off because of emotional stress, it just floods your system with cortisol. Your nervous system gets stuck in that fight or flight mode, and it never gets a chance to reset. And over time, all that mental static, it can actually turn into real, chronic physical pain.
But that slow-acting poison, it doesn't just attack the body. For so many people, it targets the mind. And that creates a kind of pain you can't see, but man, it feels just as debilitating.
Just look at someone like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I mean, for a lot of us, he's the literal poster child for immense strength, right? But for years, he was fighting this long, private, and incredibly difficult battle with severe depression. He's talked about how, for the longest time, his only play was to just put his head down and grind through it. He was following a script that, let's be honest, so many of us are taught, that vulnerability is a weakness and being tough means you just ignore all that stuff going on inside. But you know what? Eventually, he discovered his true superpower wasn't his physical strength at all. It was the incredible courage it took to finally admit how he was feeling and to actually talk about the pain he was going through. And that's when things really started to change for him. Okay, so if bottling up our emotions is so obviously damaging, both to our bodies and our minds, why are so many of us just so bad at dealing with them? Well, a huge part of the problem comes down to what we can call a brain bug. It's this glitch where we just can't seem to tell the difference between a feeling and an opinion. And it's a bug that affects so many of us, even big stars like Ryan Reynolds. He's talked about how his lifelong anxiety showed up as this intense need for perfectionism, which is a classic sign of this bug at work. And here's the thing, the distinction is actually surprisingly simple. A feeling is a raw emotion. It's usually just one word. Happy, sad, angry. An opinion, on the other hand, is a thought, it's a judgment, and the dead giveaway, it's when we say, I feel like. For example, saying, I feel like this project is going to fail, that's not a feeling. That's an opinion that's just dressed up like a feeling. So how do we fix this bug? Well, we can install a simple but really powerful firmware update for our minds. And this update, it's a 4-step practice called the iMessage. It's a formula that takes all that messy internal chaos and organizes it into a clear, constructive message. It's awesome. So first, you state the context, just the plain facts. Then, you name your one-word emotion. Third, you explain your perspective, basically why you feel that way. And finally, you state your expectation, what you really need. All right, let's see how this super simple formula can completely diffuse a situation that normally leads to silent resentment and a whole lot of frustration. Okay, picture this. A friend flakes on your plans. Again. Instead of just stewing in silence or, sending that classic passive-aggressive text, you use the formula.
You say, when you canceled our plans last minute, I felt frustrated because I feel like my time isn't being respected. I'd appreciate it if we could confirm a little earlier next time. See? It's not an attack. It's a super clear, calm way to express exactly how you feel and what you need. So the whole point of all this, the big takeaway, is to completely reframe your relationship with your feelings. It's really about taking back the steering wheel of your own emotional life. Because look, your emotions aren't these monsters you need to go out and defeat. They're not good or bad. They're just messengers. Think of them like data points that are trying to give you super important information to help you navigate your life, right? Sadness might be telling you that you've lost something important. Anger is probably telling you that a boundary has been crossed. And this is the ultimate shift right here. The second you can actually name what you're feeling, you're no longer its slave. You're not being dragged around by it anymore. You are in control. You can listen to its message, and then you get to decide what to do next. And you know what? This whole practice, it can start right now. Seriously. Just take a moment, check in with yourself, and just listen. What are your emotions trying to tell you today? The answer just might be the most important thing you hear all day.